Hi everyone, my name is Kim and I want to tell you about my experiences living here in the UK. So I live in a small town that's located in Northamptonshire County. The county is about an hour and a half drive north of London. So it's really not too far away from London. My family, they still think I live in London, but I don't. And I live in this small town, and it's quite nice actually. It's very quiet. I don't hear much of anything. The neighborhood that I live in, I actually live in the back of the neighborhood, so that's probably the reason why I don't hear much of anything. The neighborhood is very quiet, and which is a good thing. However, I will say that there isn't much space when it comes to how the neighborhood is built. I would think that since we live in a rural kind of slash suburban area, that there would be more spacing between the houses and the streets would be wider, but that's not the case. And I guess that's just the European way to build things anyway. So my husband and I, we live in a semi-detached house, which I would call a duplex. I mean, it's the same thing. So we live kind of like at the end of a dead-end street, kind of like in the corner. So it's quite a lot of cars as far as parking, like being crammed into this space, because a lot of people here, they don't have much of a driveway. My husband and I, we don't have much of a driveway. There's only two cars, maybe three cars can fit in front of our house, and that's about it. So a lot of times people park on the side of the street. Half of their car is on the curb and then half of it is in the street. So when you're driving through the neighborhood, sometimes you have to kind of slow down so that one car can pass you, or you have to slow down and let them pass. So that's just the way it is here. As far as parking, like me and my husband, we have our two cars parked in front of the house, and then our neighbor, they have four cars parked in front of their house, and then our neighbor that lives across from us, their house doesn't even face our street, but they still have their cars parked. So it's like all these cars crammed into this small space, and it's a bit claustrophobic, but that's just the way it is. The other thing about the town is the town does have a town square, or most people here call it the high street. So the high street has like local shops, and here the local shops are like they have a small grocery store, there's a hardware store, there's a post office, there's a council building there. I believe there's a dentist, hair salon, there's a thrift store, and further down the street there's a post office. So if you do want to go shopping, there are a few things that you can get on the high street. And if you're into fast food, there is a KFC and a McDonald's. There was a time where I was like a fast food junkie, but I put that life behind me. So I am proud to say I have never eaten at that KFC or the McDonald's. And there is a larger grocery store, bigger than the one on the high street. It's called Asda. It's actually owned by Walmart. So when you go there, like get your receipt printout, buy something, it does look just like a Walmart receipt. So me and my husband shop there sometimes. Um, it is kind of convenient to have a grocery store there, but they still don't have everything we need. So when we want to really go grocery shop and get everything we need at once, we shop at Tesco. I think Tesco is the largest grocery retailer here in the UK. So that's where we shop and we get all our groceries. And I love shopping at Tesco because they have this thing where you can get a scanner. So while you're shopping, you can scan all your groceries and bag all your groceries at once. So that is very convenient. It's very time saving. And so a lot of times when we shop, we're in and out because we've already done most of the checkout process with the scanning. You just go at the end, you use the scanner again at the end when you're finished shopping, and it just loads everything that you scanned so far, and you get your total and you pay for it. So I really like that about shopping at Tesco. As far as shopping for like clothes and shoes and other things, there is a shopping center called Rushton Lakes, which is about 10 minutes away from where we live. And I'm glad that I moved here when I did, because I was told that there was nowhere to really shop um, prior to Rushton Lakes. You would have to kind of drive out of your way to go shopping. So I'm glad that that's there. They do have a few American brands that I'm familiar with, or stores. So they have H&M, and then they have fast food restaurants, Five Guys, and there's a Costa. Fridays, and they have Nando's there as well. So that's there. And then they have a few other places which are more UK based, which is they have House of Fraser, which I've shopped there a few times. And when you walk in, you're bombarded by perfume and the smell of all the fragrances. So it's kind of like Macy's, or it's like on that, yeah, similar to Macy's. It's not as quite as big as Macy's, but that's what it reminds me of. So you get some decent clothes there. There's another like a pharmacy there called Boots. Um, and yeah, so go there sometimes, and they have lotion and skincare things there as well. And then there is a health store called Holland and Barrett, and my husband and I go there to get like vitamins and a few other things. So that's really convenient. The parking there is free, which is really nice, and it's a flat parking surface. There isn't a parking garage, so that makes it easier as well to park. As far as things to do, I'm gonna be honest with you, really isn't much to do out here in my local town. There is, or they do have some events for the kids in the summertime. I recall there being a fireworks and also a parade. But if you want to do something a little bit more than that, you're definitely going to have to go to another town. And then there's a park here called Standing Lakes. So I think that's a nice place to take a walk or just ride your bike or take a jog. So that's a nice place to go. My husband doesn't like it, but I think it's actually a decent place. Um, and there is public transportation out here, but I will say it's not always the most reliable. I used to take public transportation a lot in the beginning of this year. So the way it works is the bus will pick you up from the main street that faces my neighborhood. So it takes me about 5 minutes to walk to the bus stop because I live in the back of the neighborhood. Um, and the buses, they actually have double-decker buses out here. I thought that a double-decker bus was more like a London thing, but they do have it out here in this area. And so when I take the bus, I always like to sit on the second floor, and I sit in the front of the bus. So it's like the area right above the driver. So it has like a big window. I can look out, prop my feet up. Probably shouldn't prop my feet up, but that's what I do when I take the bus. So yeah, so that's the bus. And then there is a train. It's in the town of Wellingborough, which is about 15 minutes away from where I live. So we can take the train to London. It'll take you to London St. Pancras station. So the train ride from London, or from Wellingborough to London, is about an hour. So that is available. So at least the option is there. My only pet peeve about that is that if I were to take the bus to Wellingborough, it doesn't drop me off right in front of the train station. And so for a time, I did live in the Washington, D.C. area. So that was quite common there. So I was quite surprised that doesn't happen here. Because when I used to take public transportation earlier this year, it took me about 10 minutes to walk to the train station. I would get dropped off in Wellingborough, but still had to walk another 10 minutes. So oof, that was a hike. My whole journey to Wellingborough was a hike. But I'll get into that in another video. So I would definitely recommend that if you were to live in this area, to have a car. I do have my UK driving license now. Woohoo! I do have that, so I am free to just drive and go wherever I want to go. Because there are other towns, even though Ron's a small town, there's other like towns and larger towns in the area. So if you need to go somewhere, then you can go to Bedford, you can go to Kettering, you can go to Milton Keynes. So there are larger towns where there's more things to do. So yeah, that is my experience living in the UK. I think I've shared everything I wanted to in this video, and I will share more information about my life here in the UK in future videos. So I will see you next time. Bye.